Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mystery Channel 33. My bad, I'm thinking about Tuesday. My bad. Hello everyone, welcome back to the real Queen Nefertiti page, the article page, okay? We will be, my son, Junior, wanted me to do these. Y'all know I always do at least a fairy tale or a children's song, okay? Before I get off for the night, for this week, okay? So he shows Humpty Dumpty. Okay. I actually liked it Humpty Dumpty growing up. Now I don't. But I ain't gonna tell y'all though. I'm gonna just let it marinate, okay? So let's begin. It actually got a dark meaning to it. But I'm just gonna tell y'all some stuff that is basically then I'm gonna play the song for y'all, okay? If I can. Okay, I heard I can. Let's begin. The nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty has been interpreted in a few different ways to give it a darker meaning. It could be about King Richard III. Some say the rhyme is about King Richard III, who was killed in battle in 1485 and left unburied for several days. It could be about the English Civil War. Others say the rhyme refers to a cannon loosed by royalties against parliamentarians during the English Civil War. The cannon was nicknamed Humpty Dumpty and was placed on top of a wall, where it was damaged by a preliminary cannon and fell to the ground. The royalists, or all the king's men, tried to put Humpty Dumpty back together but was unable because of its weight. And it could also be about the siege engine. Another theory that Humpty Dumpty may have been a reference to an armored siege engine that was used unsuccessfully during the 1643 siege of Gloucester. Okay, Humpty Dumpty, the nursery rhyme, is about King Richard III, who was killed in battle. His body left unburied for several days. Okay, Jack and Jill, the nursery rhyme, is thought to be a reference to King Louis the Fifth and Marie Antoinette, who were both executed during the French Revolution. I'm gonna have to read that one too. Okay, my bad, y'all. Okay. So yeah, Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty together again. At the very top of the haymow in the barn, the speckled hen had made her nest, and each day for 12 days she had laid it in a pretty white egg. The speckled hen had made her nest in the out-of-the-way place so that no one would come to disturb her, as it was her intention to sit upon the eggs until they were hatched into chickens. Each day, as she laid her eggs, she would crackle to herself, saying, "This will in time be a beautiful chick with soft, fluffy down all over its body and bright little eyes that will look at the world in amazement. It will be one of my children, and I shall love it dearly." She named each egg as she laid it by the name she should call it when a chick, the first one being Cluckly Cluck, and the next Cadah Cluck, and so on. And when she came to the 12th egg, she called it Humpty Dumpty. The 12th egg was remarkably big and white, and of a very pretty shape, and as the nest was now so full, she laid it quite near the edge. And then the speckled hen, after looking proudly at her work, went off to the barnyard, clucking joyfully in search of something to eat. When she had gone, Cluckly Cluck, who was in the middle of the nest and the oldest egg of all, called out angrily, "It's getting crowded in this nest. Move up there, some of you fellows." And then he gave Carter Cut, who was above him, a kick. "I can't move unless the others do. They re-crowded me down," said Cadah Cut, and he kicked the egg next above him. And so they continued kicking one another and rolling around in the nest until one kicked Humpty Dumpty. And as he laid on the edge of the nest, he was kicked out and rolled down the haymow until he came to a stop near the very bottom. Humpty did not like this very well, but he was a bright egg for one so young, and after he had recovered from his shaking up, he began to look about to see where he was. The barn door was open and he caught a glimpse of trees and hedges and green grass with a silvery brook running through it. And he saw the waving grain and the tassel of maize and the sunshine flooding it all. The scene was very enticed to the young egg, and Humpty at once resolved to see something off this great world before going back to the nest. He began to make his way carefully through the hay and was getting along very well when he heard a voice say, "Where are you going?" Humpty looked around and found he was beside a pretty little nest in which was one brown egg. "Did you speak?" he asked. "Yes," replied the brown egg. "I asked where you were going." "Who are you?" inquired Humpty. "Do you belong in our nest?" "Oh, no," answered the brown egg. "My name is Kaushi Kalu, and the black Bedtime laid me about an hour ago." "Oh," said Humpty proudly, "I belong to the speckled hen myself." "Do you indeed?" returned Kaushi Kalu. I saw her go by a little while ago, and she's much bigger than the black bat Bam-Tam." "Yes, and I'm much bigger than you," replied Humpty, "but I'm going out to see the world, and if you'd like to go with me, I take good care of you." "Isn't it dangerous for eggs to go about all by themselves?" asked Kaushi timidly. "Perhaps so," answered Humpty, "but it's dangerous in the nest too. My brothers might have smashed me with their kicking. However, we are careful we can't come too much harm. So come along, little one, and I'll look after you." Kalshikalu gave him her hand while he helped her out of the nest, and together they crept over the hay until they came to the barn floor. They made for the door at once, holding each other by the hand, and soon came to the threshold, which appeared very high to them. "We must jump," said Humpty. "I'm afraid," cried Kalu, "and I declare, that's my mother's voice clucking. She coming your way. She coming this way." "Then hurry," said Humpty, "and do not tremble too so, or you will get yourself all mixed up. It doesn't improve eggs to shake them. We will jump, but take care not to bump against me, or you may break my shell. Now, 1, 2, 3. They held each other's hand and jumped, alighting safely in the roadway. Then, fearing their mothers would see them, Humpty ran as fast as he could go until he and Crouchy were concealed beneath a rose bush in the garden. "I'm afraid we are bad eggs," gasped Crouchy, who was somewhat out of breath. "Oh, not at all," replied Humpty. "We were laid only this morning, so we are quite fresh. But now, since we are in the world, we must start out in search of adventure. Here's a roadside beside us which will lead us somewhere or other, so come along, Crouchy Kaloo, and do not be afraid." The brown egg meekly gave him her hand, and together they plodded along the roadway until they came to a high stone wall, which had sharp spikes upon its top. It seemed to extend for a great distance, and the egg stopped and looked at it curiously. "I'd like to see what is behind that wall," said Humpty, "but I don't think we shall be able to climb over it." "No, indeed," answered the brown egg, "but just before us I see a little hole in the wall near the ground. Perhaps we can crawl through that." They went to the hole and found it was just large enough to admit them, so they squeezed through very carefully in order not to break themselves, and soon came out to the other side. They were now in the most beautiful garden with trees and bright hued flowers in abundance and pretty fountains that shot their merry sprays far into the air. In the center of the garden was a great palace with bright golden turrets and domes and many windows that glistened into the sunshine like the sparkle of diamonds. Richly dressed courtiers and charming ladies strode through the walks, and before the palace door was a dozen prancing horses gaily capricorn awaiting their riders. It was a scene brilliant enough to fascinate anyone, and the two eggs stood spellbound while their eyes feasting upon the unusual sight. "See," whispered Kashikaloo, "there are some birds swimming in the water yonder. Let us go and look at them, for we also may be birds some day." "True," answered Humpty, but we are just as likely to be omelets or angels' food. Still, we will have a look at the birds." Okay. Okay, so the song, my son gonna read the other parts, okay, if you want to. And this the riddle to the king, okay? Humpty Dumpty. I'm hearing that song by me. "Take me to the king." You hear me? Yeah, that's me. That before I died, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? Just take me to the king. You hear me? So Humpty Dumpty, okay, I just read that. Read me that, sir, and you will. The king thought earnestly for a long time, and he slapped his head and rubbed his ears and walked the floor in great strides. But guess the riddle he could not. You are a humbug, sir. He cried out at last. There is no answer to such a riddle. You are wrong, sir, answered the young man. Humpty Dumpty was an egg. Why not think of that before? Exclaimed the king. But he gave the princess to the young man to be his bride, and they lived happily ever after, mashallah him. And thus Humpty Dumpty, even in his death,